Hello, my Bible buddies. My name is Aubrey. Today, I'm going to read you a story from the Bible. But first, I want to ask you a question. Did you know that Jesus loves you? He loves you more than you could possibly imagine. He wants to be your friend too. Did you know that? One of the ways we can be Jesus' friend is by getting to know him better. Did you know he helped write the whole Bible? Well, he did. You can get to know him better by listening to this Bible story. If you want to read what it says in the actual Bible, you can read it in John chapter 11, verses 1 through 44. Now sit back and listen as I read to you about the tale of Lazarus and the voice of hope. Once upon a time, in a little village called Bethany, there lived two sisters named Mary and Martha and their brother Lazarus. They were the best of friends, always laughing and helping one another. Their small stone house sat on a hillside, surrounded by olive trees and wildflowers that danced in the warm breeze. The three of them loved welcoming visitors, especially their dear friend, Jesus, who often stopped by with stories that made their hearts glow. One day, something terrible happened. Lazarus fell very sick. His face grew pale, and his laughter faded. Mary and Martha tried everything: warm soup, soft blankets, even their best songs, but nothing helped. They sent a message to Jesus, who was far away in another town.
Please come quickly.
They begged.
Lazarus needs you.
But days passed and Jesus didn't arrive. The sisters watched helplessly as Lazarus grew weaker. One quiet evening, with the sun dipping low and painting the sky orange, Lazarus closed his eyes for the last time. Mary and Martha held each other and cried. Their brother was gone. The village came to mourn with them. Neighbors brought bread and flowers, and everyone whispered kind words. They wrapped Lazarus in soft white cloths, like a cocoon, and laid him in a tomb, a dark cave carved into the rocky hill. A big, heavy stone was rolled in front of the entrance, sealing it shut. Mary sat by the tomb, tears streaming down her face, while Martha paced back and forth, her heart heavy with sadness. 4 days later, a figure appeared on the dusty road leading to Bethany. It was Jesus. His robe was dusty from travel, but his eyes shone with a gentle light. When Martha heard he was near, she ran to meet him. She cried,
"If you had been here, my brother wouldn't have died."
Her voice trembled, but she added softly,
"Even now, I know you can do anything."
Martha,
he said.
your brother will rise again.
Martha nodded, thinking he meant someday far in the future, but Jesus smiled and said something strange.
I am the resurrection and the life. Anyone who believes in me will live, even if they die.
Martha hurried back to get Mary, who ran to Jesus and fell at his feet sobbing.
Lord, if only you had been here.
She said. The crowd followed, watching and whispering. When Jesus saw Mary crying and heard the wails of the villagers, his heart broke. Tears welled up in his own eyes, and he asked,
Where have you laid him?
They led him to the tomb, a shadowy place with the big stone blocking the way. Jesus stood there staring at it. The air felt heavy and everyone was quiet, waiting to see what he would do. Then, with a voice full of love and power, he said,
Take away the stone.
Martha gasped.
"But Lord,"
she whispered.
"he's been in there 4 days. It won't smell nice."
Jesus turned to her, his eyes steady.
Didn't I tell you that if you believe, you'll see the glory of God?
Martha hesitated, then nodded. The men in the crowd stepped forward and rolled the stone away with a loud rumble. Dust floated in the air, and the dark mouth of the tomb gaped open. Everyone held their breath. Jesus lifted his face to the sky and prayed,
Our Father, thank you for hearing me. Let these people see your power.
Then he took a deep breath, stepped closer to the tomb, and called out in a voice that echoed through the hills,
Lazarus, come out!
For a moment, nothing happened. The wind rustled the olive trees, and a bird chirped nearby. Then, from the shadows of the tomb, there was movement. A figure shuffled forward, wrapped head to toe in white grave clothes. The crowd gasped and stumbled back. It was Lazarus. His hands were bound, his face still covered, but he was alive. His chest rose and fell with each breath, and his muffled voice mumbled something no one could quite hear.
"Unwrap him. Let him go,"
Jesus said with a smile. Martha and the others hurried forward, peeling away the cloths. There he was, Lazarus, blinking in the sunlight, his cheeks rosy again. He looked around, confused at first, then broke into a big grin when he saw his sisters. Mary and Martha threw their arms around him, laughing and crying all at once. The villagers cheered, some shouting,
"It's a miracle,"
while others just stared, their mouths wide open in amazement. Jesus stood quietly to the side, watching the happy reunion. The people of Bethany couldn't stop talking about what they'd seen.
"He called Lazarus out of the tomb,"
they said.
"He has power even over death."
Mary and Martha hugged Jesus, their hearts full of gratitude.
Thank you.
They whispered.
You brought our brother back to us.
That night, the little house in Bethany was filled with light and laughter again. Lazarus sat at the table, eating bread and telling everyone how he'd heard Jesus' voice, strong and clear, pulling him back from the darkness. The sisters smiled, knowing their friend wasn't just a teacher. He was someone special, someone who loved them so much he could even chase away death itself. And so, the story of Lazarus spread far and wide like a song carried on the wind. It was a tale of tears turned to joy, of a tomb that couldn't hold its prisoner, and of a love so strong it could wake the sleeping. The children of Bethany, and all who heard the story, learned something wonderful, that Jesus' voice could bring hope to even the darkest places, and that his power and love were bigger than anything, even the end. And they all lived happily, with a little more wonder in their hearts forever after.
May the Lord bless you and keep you. May the Lord make his face to shine upon you and be gracious to you. And may the Lord lift up his countenance upon you and give you peace. Thanks for watching.